called Super Chicken. Yeah.
Wasn't there, like, I can remember
Just call for Super Chicken.
I think you're making it up.
No, it's true. They had all kinds of crazy cartoons back in the 70s.
I'll have to take your word for it. I was not alive.
Ding. Now what? Oh, that's us. That's us. We're on the air.
It's wigger time.
What?
Nikki says it's 6 o'clock. Good evening. I gotta move my phone.
This is fun because, sorry everybody online, because we're live,
Do we
but
have anybody watching though?
I don't know.
No.
Not right now. Oh no, there are a couple. But okay.
Good Lord. I mean that, seriously. Now we know why the table's bent.
That's a lot of emotion in the beginning. Chickens and laughter.
Hold on to your hats.
I almost landed head first. I almost jumped too much. What is this? What did you do? The waffles?
No, here, you need to hold this cutting device.
It's not a cutting device, it's a spatula.
It'll be a cutting device in a second.
Did you bring a cake?
No, this is our coffee. You said coffee donuts, right? And you said surprise you?
Did you bring coffee cake?
No, I brought coffee cinnamon roll from Maltby.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that.
Wow.
So, this is our dinner.
Wow.
Feel how heavy that thing is.
I can tell. And it's got raisins in it. That's the best kind.
Okay. So you're
3 pounds
in
of
charge of
frosting.
cutting it up, Father, so
Oh man, that
We
smells
cut that.
so good.
cut it in half and you and Mary share
All right. What? Wait, I have to share it?
No!
it. And here's 2 more for you. This is I got these so that you could give them to the staff. Okay, for all their hard work on the conference.
Okay.
We could carve this up tomorrow and have them for breakfast.
Oh, thank you. Oh, they'll appreciate that.
Yeah. I need
Well, it's a good thing I weighed myself this morning. No, I didn't actually.
Oh, well.
I can actually, is this drinkable?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Is it drinkable?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, boy. It's just straight water.
Just straight water this time.
Well, straight decaf coffee.
No, it's
Close
Wait a
enough.
minute, wait a minute.
We're
Good evening, St.
Oh
Brendan.
yes, hello.
Oh, hi!
Are you here?
Is anybody here?
Hello,
Just messing
everybody.
around by
St.
ourselves.
Brendan. This has turned into, like, it's no longer coffee and donuts. With coffee and donuts.
I still have coffee.
I think we still have the joy, and hopefully we'll get to the truth also. But
Yeah.
but we have just it's evangelizing with joy and truth and
Some coffee.
Coffee and
coffee.
cinnamon roll.
That's the only real coffee,
And a
because
pastry.
yours is not real coffee.
Decaf does
It's
not
decaf.
count.
And it's a foo-foo drink.
That's
Oh,
right.
it's a foo-foo.
It's got soy and vanilla in it.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
And I have water, and there's no donut. Well, no, we do have the donut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have the
Well,
donut right
chicken
here.
is eating
Here's
the
the donut.
The donut will always come with us.
Right there, everybody.
But that's a bigger donut.
This is the lacquered donut from the beginning. The
Yes.
original.
Mhm.
The original.
OG.
Yeah. That's different than, like, isn't there like restaurants that are called the Pancake House, and then there's the original Pancake House, and right?
Yeah,
Is that
there's
right?
one down in Edmonds, I think it's been there as long as I can remember.
What's the one that's on the Bothell Everett Highway? What's that one called? It's on the right side.
We're at 180? It's Patty's Egg Nest?
No, not that far.
Oh.
Come back this way a little ways.
Oh,
They
yeah, no,
have-
there is a pancake house there, but
Yeah,
that's
Pancake
new.
House.
That's new.
Oh,
That's been-
okay.
That's only was built.
It's not
You have to
original.
like
The
order
90s.
your omelets like half an hour beforehand or something, because they bake them in the oven or something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's a good place to eat.
Is it?
People are always in line there, and
I've only been there once. I don't know. Are they still open?
as far as I know, they are,
I
yeah.
hope so.
Well, that Maltby Cafe, I went there today, there's still a dozen people waiting in line, because they now serve breakfast all day till 3 o'clock.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So-
That's why I got you dispatching.
That
Oh.
nice. Like,
Now you know why it's
I don't think this is gonna cut through that though. Do you?
You never know.
It's not, it's
That's
not
all
shy.
off the table.
Yeah.
We're gonna end up with a little floor.
I don't know.
There, see, it worked.
So we're gonna cut this into thirds, huh?
Well,
Something like that?
close as you can get, but, I mean, that's dinner.
So much frosting.
I love frosting though, so.
You just
Oh,
chew a
yeah.
spoon, you
So-
just eat right out of it.
There you go.
Forget the cinnamon roll, I just want the frosting and the raisins. The breaded part's just gonna fill me up.
So while Father's doing that, I'm just telling you that we didn't tell Mary, but the subject of tonight is the teachings of Padre Pio
Yeah.
and his effect on American culture.
That's right.
So that's why Father and I were studying for this, and we didn't tell Mary.
She didn't study for it?
No,
Wow.
no, she heard that you were studying, and then.
I made fun of you guys.
That's not the topic for tonight, by the way.
We can't keep it together.
I can't.
I wasn't
I
buying
cannot
it for
tell
a
a
minute
lie.
anyway.
She didn't, you could tell.
Yeah.
She didn't buy it at all.
I don't
She
know.
immediately
No,
knew.
she was, because she turned red.
Oh.
Like,
I knew that anyway.
I said, I can't believe they did this to me.
So we're actually, well, originally we had a different topic.
Oh, yeah.
picked, and we were not going to air this live. Actually, we were going to release it on Saturday morning, but our topic changed
Mhm.
because
The assisted suicide
Right.
issue.
the assisted suicide issue has been tabled in the state right now, at least. So it's kind of the bill that they were trying to pass, from what I'd heard anyway, is now dead.
So it
it's
didn't
not-
make it through the Senate.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's a good thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is a good thing. So we're
Lot more joy today.
yes, that's right. Well,
Well,
it's not. We don't have to focus on a heavy topic
Yeah.
again.
So the death of dignity, though, that law is still in place from 2018. It's the same. They just didn't, they wanted to
Right.
change it.
They were trying to change it to make it easier for
And
people.
short it up, you said.
So they were trying to shorten it from, is it 15 days down to 72 hours, which is 3 days, right? In terms of, just going through the whole process.
And no psychological examination.
No, you would have a psychological examination, but, or maybe there was no psychological examination, I can't remember now, sorry. And then, the other part was, but it broadened as to who could give that, right? That
Right.
they were competent to make that decision.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So that's what it was.
And they could ship the drugs to your house or something.
Right, and yeah,
Would that be good?
just unbelievable stuff. And we knew that that was going to be the case, that they weren't going to stop. Back when they tried to pass this, or when they did pass it back in 2018, we knew that they weren't going to stop then, and they were going to, it was just an incremental step, and of course it is.
Once they get something, it never stops.
Yeah, they
That's
just
the
continue to push.
Yeah, like the 5 cent a gallon gas tax.
Yeah. What's that at now? I don't even know.
No idea.
You guys are getting the two big chunks, but they're not as
Oh,
compacted. Not as more compacted over
Now look at all the frosting.
Yeah.
there. Once I get once I get these
All-
out of the way, then I can get
Just
you guys
smear
some
that
more
frosting on there and you keep that one.
I feel like, I feel like we've turned into a cooking show.
Now, how would you describe the texture?
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I haven't put it in my mouth.
Do
I don't know how I'm gonna eat this online either. Like
Do I
we're
really
we're
have
shooting this on video.
Well, I was just
We
planning
generally
on
don't
just sit here and eat while you talk.
Oh, you're just gonna eat while the rest of us. Boy,
I know.
this is oh, here, I need to get Mary some frosting.
Oh,
here.
no, you can just have it all.
Oh, no. Oh, no, I can't. There.
So, the subject tonight is
Is
the men's.
Well,
men's
thank you.
conference. Yeah, which is.
That's why I'm
happening-
here.
That's why Mary's here with us, because she's, no, never mind. So Dale, do you want to pass that over here again? I can put some more frosting on there for you.
So it's 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 only like 73 hours away. I mean,
Not even that. No,
48
yeah.
hours away.
Not even that.
No.
No, it's tomorrow night.
Less than
Starts
24
in
hours
24
away.
hours or so.
25 hours away.
Because registration is at 6 o'clock tomorrow, if you're going to right, but you can come in and like sign in and all that, right? And then if you haven't registered online, you can still register in person tomorrow as you arrive. So I think the online registration at this point has closed
At
off.
5 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah.
And, but you can still register in person as you come in. The only thing is that then you don't get a lunch.
So if you guys are involved with the BBB, check your email. I sent through an email today to remind, or earlier this afternoon, to remind you about the conference, and that, like Father said, there's a walk-in registration. But you can't, you won't get lunch on Saturday unless you did it online. Right?
But look, the water went down my pipe, the wrong pipe. I don't know where it came from. I haven't even taken a drink in a while. I can't even speak. Taking a drink.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
I'm not gonna say it.
But BBB, what does BBB stand for? Barbecue, Beer, and Brothers, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Barbecue, Beer, and Brothers.
It was your idea.
So that's what BBB stands for. It's a men's group that we started here in the parish. How long ago? Has it been 3 years?
Yeah.
Wow. So
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
yeah, Barbecue, Beer, and Brothers. It's been a great program actually, and we've done the Men Rise Up challenge from that, right? And we then
Various speakers.
Exodus. Yeah, we've had speakers. Then Exodus, the Exodus program, also kind of sprung out of that as well. Well, us participating in the Exodus program, that we didn't start the Exodus program. The Exodus program started elsewhere, but it's been we haven't been able to do it during COVID. We haven't been able to do it during COVID. And the men's conference we weren't able to have last year either because of COVID either, right? So the men's conference this year happening right here at St. Brendan's. Yeah, so you can come and still register in person. You can also, if you're, for some reason, I think most people, well, there's a number of people who are registered online, right? So,
At home.
yeah.
Watch it on Zoom.
Right, so they can watch it online also, but obviously not going to be the same experience either, right, as being in person with your brothers. So encourage people to come. And who's our keynote speaker?
Father
She's so
Spitzer!
excited, yeah. Because you went to Gonzaga.
I did. Father
Yeah.
Spitzer was the president of Gonzaga University when I was there, all 4 years.
He was there as president until what, 2005, 7?
I think 5 was.
Yeah, 5 or 6, I believe. 'Cause it was
Yeah.
very shortly after I left.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think he was the president there for, what is it, 11 years altogether, something like that? Yeah. And now he is running the Maji Center, and what else?
He does videos and all kinds of things.
Yeah, he's got an incredible mind. I know I was looking through sort of his introductory notes, and he's debated people on
Oh, yeah.
television and all kinds of stuff.
Stephen
But
Hawking was the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
it was really
Yeah.
good.
yeah,
And we, in 6th grade religion, which I teach, we use this Credible Catholic program
oh good.
with the 7 essential modules, proof of God's existence through philosophy and through science. And
Yeah.
we just finished the proof of Christ's divinity and resurrection. And yeah, it's been a really, really fun experience for everybody. The kids are super into it.
Oh good.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book right now, Answering the New Atheism, right? Which I think is also an answer to Hawking's. Is it Hawking, you
Stephen
said?
Hawking.
His book that came out, I can't remember what the name of his book is, but it's Scott Hahn and someone else who puts this Answering the New Atheism book together. So. But Father Spitzer, we're excited to have him here, and I know that Tom Curran just had him also on the Sacred Heart radio. Doing an interview for this. This was a little over a week ago that they did that. And I think that's an hour episode about with him. So Father Spitzer will be giving 3 talks. So one is kind of on that spiritual warfare a little bit of, I can't remember the title of it exactly, the first one, and then the Eucharist, and then the Shroud of Turin, looking at scientifically how that's been looked at even and tested and all kinds of things, right? So Shroud of Turin, does anybody know what the Shroud of Turin is?
Oh, yeah.
You want to tell them what the Shroud of Turin is?
It was the burial wrap of Jesus, that's what it's claimed to be.
Right.
And it's, and they have some documented scientific information on that, so it was ruled out for the longest time, but then they thought the test was bad.
Right.
And they went back and did it. So it was really interesting, is because the tie-in with Saint Faustina was with that portrait that's over there behind us. Of the what do you call it, portrait? Jesus, I trust in you, the Divine Mercy
Divine
portrait.
Mercy image.
And when they took the photo and the picture, portrait, and they gauged his face, and it was, the measurements all came out to match up with the Shroud of Turin. It's just kind of freaky.
Yeah.
So.
In a cool way, I mean, showing, right, that there's an actual connection there in terms of even what St. Faustina.
What are the chances?
Yeah.
You know, of that lining up like that.
Right.
And
Especially
the hair
because
and
this is,
everything.
it's an artist's rendition of what St. Faustina saw, right? I mean, that image of the Divine Mercy that she had done, but.
And the shroud is also a big factor in that proof of Christ's resurrection. His father's sister deals with that.
Right,
Yeah.
so he'll be
So
talking.
the kids were
about-
super into that too.
Yeah.
They're like completely mesmerized.
I'm glad you said that, because, when I put that email out, I had some people email me asking me, what are the subjects that speakers are going to discuss? And I wasn't really, I guess I hadn't seen them either. I couldn't answer it, and I didn't know if they were online or not.
Yeah.
Are they online?
No, it's in the schedule that the guys will receive as they come in, yeah.
Okay.
So, but it's the theme of, the whole thing is about that spiritual battle, right?
Right.
So,
Well,
and I think actually the talk that I'm giving is about spiritual combat. And his, Father Spencer's, his first one on that Friday though, is between Jesus and the evil one, right? So, yeah, but I can't remember what the name of that is exactly, his talk, but
okay.
yeah. So that's it. It's exciting. We have a lot coming up, and there have been a lot of people. Actually, I have this out here even so that I want to make sure that I take that chance to say thank you to people. No, I don't even know that.
Okay, all right.
But just thanking a number of people. We've had a lot of people working really hard.
How long of a conference is it?
Oh, it's 2 days. So it starts on Friday night.
Tomorrow.
Yes, and then it goes until Saturday, and we end with Eucharistic procession, and then we'll come back into the church, do benediction, and then we'll make our consecration to St. Joseph, which we'll be doing with the Hispanic Men's Conference, the Spanish-speaking men's conference that's happening at St. Pius also. So si hablan español y quieren ir a la conferencia de español, hay una conferencia para los hombres que empieza creo que el sábado en San Pío. Entonces pueden registrar a través de su página del website también de San Pío. So you can register for the men's conference if you want to go in Spanish at St. Pius, and they're having that, and we'll be connecting between those two conferences at a couple of points.
So if you go to St. Brendan's website, you'll find the registration link, and you'll also be able to get the Zoom info
Right.
from the same one, so you can get all set up at home for when this starts at 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this, when we first started the Barbecue Beer and Brothers group here, Dale and I kind of put that together, and then when we first started talking about all of this is what we wanted to do, was bring a men's conference here to the parish and really grow that men's ministry, because as men, and I think that's what part of that Men Rise Up challenge that we had was to be better fathers, brothers, husbands, and sons, right? An answer even to it was even a lot of news coming out about basically sexual sins, right, that men were committing and all over the place. And so this is what we as men need to do is to be better fathers, husbands, brothers, and sons, better men, to be able to serve the Lord and to serve families and friends the way that Christ has called us to.
And the logical next step with all that, Men Rise Up, was the Exodus program.
Right.
And that has taken off, and the men involved in that are talking about all that they get out of that. Even their wives are talking about all that they're so happy that their men have stepped up and made some major changes.
Yeah.
And men need something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's
changed their lives, like you're saying. Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, because it's regardless. In this day and age, when you have all the information out there and the pornography and all the rest of it, men are slapped with that in the face all the time.
Sure.
And it's I think it's more difficult now to be a man that stays the course than it was even 20 years ago.
Sure.
Or 25 years ago. So it was, I remember a wise old priest told me one time, he says, being a man, you're gonna deal with these issues until you're 6 feet under.
Yeah.
So, you might as well just accept it.
Right.
But you don't do something about it.
Right, and those temptations are going to be there until, but you don't have to pay attention to those temptations. You don't have to cave into them. And
Go ahead.
that fraternity has been something that's super helpful, I think, also and we were talking about this last night for the ladies also, right? So, because it's not just the men's group and the Men Rise Up Challenge and Exodus, but the women also had 32 women we had in the parish doing the Fiat program, which is kind of the women's version of the Exodus program, and more than we had in terms of the guys even, right, in terms of numbers.
Yes.
Some of those were from a couple of other parishes, but very few. Most of them were from right here.
And the great thing about that, it was just starting out and needed a lot of things added to it, reform.
Sure.
And then people like Bridget have taken that thing by the horns and said, hey, we're gonna improve this program, and because that's what the ladies are asking for.
Right.
So it's always continuous improvement, and that's the great thing about coming to this men's conference for men, is that the help you need is your brotherhood from your brothers you're going to talk to there. They're going through the same things you are. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's true. It is true, and it gives you the opportunity to talk about it. And you get the education of how to deal with it. I mean, become more aware of what it is that we should be doing as men. Well, and even if we didn't know all the subjects that weren't particularly posted online or anything, it doesn't matter, because we're all together, and you always take away something from one of these conferences. And that's very important for the men of the parish or the surrounding area that we've invited to come. Where are we now, Father, as far as how many people are signed up to come in person? Is it over 100?
Yeah, to be in person, I think, the last that I'd heard last night was 133, so we're expecting, I'm sure that's grown since I heard last night, but because usually there's that rush at the end. So, and then there'll be more, of course, that come and register in person also.
And more online.
Yeah, there's over 100 on the register online also, and I don't know how much that's blown up either. So
I like that. I really do. That's incredible.
Yeah. So it's all good news that and I already know, a few people who were coming, they hadn't registered, and I just talked to them earlier today too, but getting back to those relationships and that sorority on one side and fraternity on another side, as human beings, and I think that we look out at the world and we look around at people around us and we think that they have all of these friendships and they have these deep friendships, and we look out and we're like, oh, I wish that I had that, or I wish I had the closer. But there's so many times that's not the real story. There aren't those close relationships that we may appear to be there, right? And so something like an Exodus and a Fiat, but even just the parish life in general is meant to really help to foster that, so that we're there for one another. I was just talking about this, met with someone just the other day, and the struggles that she's been going through in her own life, and not having those closer relationships when, everything kind of hit the fan for her, right? Who was there in her life, and there weren't a lot of people that were there. And so it's so important that we build those relationships, and especially in the culture in which we live, we've become even more isolated. And to build those close relationships, it takes sacrifice. A priest once told me, this is Father Olson who told me this, I don't know if I remember it all right now, but he said part of being a friend, about being a real friend, is making sacrifices to be there for someone when they need it, and then making sacrifices to be there when you need it. And it's not just all about, oh, what do I get out of this, right? And that's sort of our mentality, I think, oftentimes. And then we just are left alone, right? And people are out struggling, floundering even on their own, and that's where we get into trouble. So
that's what's very important about the men's conference, because women naturally have good social connections. They know a lot of people and a lot of girlfriends or friends.
Sure.
Men don't necessarily have that, and so they don't really have any place to go and talk. They don't want to go and talk, for one. But it was interesting was that when you told me we were switching up the subject, I'm going to talk about this, and I was thinking back about my first involvement when I was on a beach somewhere, and my phone rang, and it was Father Wickert, and he says I was reading a book on men's evangelization on the beach. Seriously, I was, and he says, Dale, you think about, you signed up, you said you were interested in evangelization. What do you think about starting a men's group? Perfect timing, Father. But even though I thought about that, and then I thought, you start to get butterflies, and you start to get nervous. And how is this going to work? How are you going to reach out and touch these guys? And I had this flashback to when I was about 10 years old, and I got up on the high dive, standing out there on the board, looking down, and thought, well, I'm the only one that can make this decision about whether or not I'm going to do it or not. But you trust, and you do, and that's really what you need to do. What we need to do, we need to trust, that Jesus talked about his ocean of divine mercy. Well, that's the ocean of divine mercy down there when you take that step off of there and just trust that he's going to take care of you, and that's important.
And in a culture in which we live, also we hear it all the time, right? The cancel culture. We live in a culture that says if you've done something wrong, you're exiled immediately, and that is, oh, your chicken just went out. That is.
You didn't like what you were saying.
It's problematic for us as human beings, because we already have that mentality. Oh, and I see this, I encounter this all the time as a priest, especially if somebody really knew who I was, they would never be able to love me. And it's a mentality that is rampant in our society, and it's the opposite of what we need as human beings.
Yeah.
We need to have not only to receive that divine mercy from God, but to learn from his divine mercy also. It's not that we condone sin, it's not that we allow sin to just continue and fester. That's not what we're talking about. But to reach out in mercy and love also to people who do fall, so that they can also get back up, right? Because they're still human beings.
You go to the confessional is just the most important thing there is out there. That you go there and you lay it all on the line and just talk about it and lay it out there and seek forgiveness. And I would recommend that 1,000%. It's just something that everybody needs to do, whether you're a man or a woman. You need to do it. And it's
to receive that divine mercy.
Will there be opportunities for confession at the conference?
There will be lots of opportunities for confession at the men's conference. I think at this point we have 5 priests hearing confessions tomorrow night from 8 to 10. And then a number of other priests some of them will be helping both Friday night and then Saturday also, but then also a couple of different times. There's I think a total of 2.5 hours about of confessions throughout the day on Saturday. You'll have an opportunity to do that there as well. Dale you mentioned something about women naturally having more
connections,
more social connections. Mary, do you think that's true?
I think that's a stereotype. Yeah.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Oh,
women
call me a
are-
liar, Mary.
No,
Go ahead.
let's get
Let's
back
to talking about Padre Pio.
No, there's a
it's
lot
a
of truth
good
to the
point.
fact that women, we're definitely more talkative than men. That's true. I mean, there's the whole like stereotype about like women going to the restroom at the same time and coming back an hour later because they're just in there you know, like men seem to be a little bit more prone to solo activities and whatnot. You don't
We
see
can
a
do it on
lot
our
of
own.
like female golfers necessarily, you know. So yeah, it's a stereotype for sure. However, the authenticity of those relationships, I would maybe call into question.
Right.
There's a lot of, well, again, going down
I
the
see.
stereotype road, you know, just cattiness and superficiality and, well, just having those kind of superficial relationships is pretty common, I would say.
See, men don't do that.
Well, and it is. It's partly, I think, because it's really easy to talk about nothing for a long time.
Right.
And so when you're really kind of asking yourself, like, what is the substance of this relationship, whether it's female-female or female-male, identifying the substance can be actually a real challenge because there's just been a lot of talking about nothing in particular.
Right. But aren't you more prone to say that when you get together, you'll talk about family, and you'll talk about friends and things that men don't really talk about?
Yes, but again, I think there's also a difference between just chatting about things and talking about things too.
Oh, okay.
That's just
didn't see
my
that.
hot take on it. But.
I think it's a good thing to recognize that yeah.
Like I would say even for myself, like there are things that I just don't generally talk about with female friends. So just, you know, keep to myself. And I think a lot of women are like that as well too. But.
So
you know,
women need to learn how to be women from other women, but then
Mhm.
are held back from even sometimes having those conversations out of fear also, right? Or
Yeah.
to be caught up, not just caught up in the cattiness, but be the subject of the cattiness perhaps, right, at times.
Right.
And
That's always a worry, I think.
but there's
Well,
a
and
fear
it's
that's
interesting
there.
too, going back to Father Spitzer, the first module that we started in 6th grade of his modules is called True Happiness. I went a little bit out of order, but I wanted to start with that because we started remotely and all these kids were at home by themselves, and so I wanted to really hone in immediately on identifying levels of happiness, and Father Spitzer gives us 4 levels of happiness. And the second one being comparative. And I remember from my Gonzaga days and a lot of Father Spitzer homilies talking about our comparative culture. And it's who's got the better car, who's got the better figure.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Who's got less light?
Who's sitting in the dark?
Goodbye.
All we should have to do is wave. It should.
You would think.
There you go.
You
Yep.
get it around the
I use
corner.
my hands enough.
Yeah. Dale, what are you doing to us?
That was a rave.
Dale's.
Okay, got it back.
Yeah. Anyway, but yes, I
Comparing,
think
making
men and
comparisons.
women are both guilty of
Sure.
that.
Well,
In different fields though. I think it's often more true that with men it has to do with employment and status. And with women it is again kind of more superficial honestly, but yeah, who's the smaller figure, who's this or who's that, and who's got the, you know.
Different subjects that men worry about.
yeah.
And
But they're equally important also, right? So they are different because
Yeah.
we are different as men and women. That's just the reality.
That-
Yeah, I
that's-
know. It's
Well, and they
but
also
it's
have
true.
That's profound.
self-image, you
Yeah.
know, like I think it was a couple episodes of the show ago, you mentioned the difficulty of actually loving oneself.
Yeah.
And that's true across the board,
Yeah.
women and men, just for different reasons. so,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
And we started a women's group also, which was the idea even in starting a men's group. I knew that the ladies would be like, well, wait a second,
What about
we want a group too. And I'm like, well, I'm not a woman, so I can't tell you what it is that you guys even need. So there are a number of ladies in the parish who stepped forward, and they started a women's group. Now we've got Fiat, probably merge those two in some fashion also. And so just excited about the way that in which that's going. And one thing that for the ladies too, I think I've said this before, even in the parish, but we've talked about. I've talked with Bridget about running a women's conference also once we've finished the men's conference.
One thing at a time.
I mean, it'll take some time to plan that too, but obviously, but and I know of, there hasn't been a women's conference in the Archdiocese that I know of. Yeah, so so
That's interesting.
we were talking about doing that, starting one here.
To be continued.
Off and running,
So you were gonna.
Oh, yeah, so even
Yeah.
speaking, we've mentioned Bridget a couple of times
Yeah.
in here, I think. But I need to make sure that there's a number of people, a huge number of people who've helped. This is not all of them, right? And so we have a number of volunteers that have signed up, but this is sort of the core team, the people who've been behind the scenes, putting on the.
Hold your applause till the end.
Yeah, hold your applause.
Oh.
Well, you can applaud at home, I don't know for each one of them, but you guys have to hold it to the end. So, Tom Gray, huge instrumental piece in bringing the men's conference here even, so he's the one who really began to reach out and see what would be possible in terms of bringing it here. So Tom Gray did a lot of work with that and put the team together and just was advertising for getting people moving in that direction. But he's had a number of people rise to that occasion too. So Bridget has been a huge piece in terms of evangelization here in the parish, and she's really taken on that role. Bill Nash, I'm going to go down the list here that I have, and I'm sorry I'm going to miss some people in here, I'm sure, and I apologize in advance, but hopefully I'll catch people. Bill Nash, David Sullivan, Diane, I'm going to assassinate your last name here, but Osmielowski, and Joe Osmielowski, and Joe Jervis, Jay Dorney, Eric Warner, Eileen Warner, Mark Hart. I have Jay Dorney on here twice, so he's helped a lot.
Way to go, Jay!
Rod Harmon, Pat, and Rod's been working a lot with Father Spitzer, he knows him from before too, but Pat Walsh, Bobby Buendia, and then obviously their families are involved in that because they've been making sacrifices in terms of them coming in and helping with that too. And then we have our tech team also, Octavian, and we said hold it till the end.
Oh.
She forgot already.
Thou shalt not. I heard a meme, like somebody was talking about this.
That's just
What part of thou shalt not do you not understand?
That's one of those differences between men and women.
Oh, boy, Daily.
Well.
I'm gonna scoot over here.
This thing gets blown.
Lightning.
Yeah.
Right there.
As the music director at St. Brendan, who's been working throughout 2020, I feel particularly fond of our tech team.
Yeah, they've done a ton of work.
Yeah.
Octavian Easter.
Octavian Easter, that's right. Octave of Easter. So Jason Swagger also on that tech team.
Yeah.
Chris Lopez, and he's from Heroic Men, who have done a lot of work with us, and then and they're the ones that are live streaming it also for us, right? So a huge thank you to them, heroicmen.com. And then Northwest Catholic Brothers in Christ, there are a couple of figures from there, Don Myers and Alan Murray. Both of them have been hugely instrumental but throughout, and iron sharpens iron, so not just here at the parish, but they're at large, as is Chris Lopez from Heroic Men. Obviously, Dr. Tom Curran, then, who did the interview with Father Spitzer as well on Sacred Heart Radio, so thank you for advertising for this as well. And then I think I've already put Bridget in there. And then Kevin von Hollenbach is going to be our MC for that event also. And then Mary is helping with the music, I know, as well. So.
And then Deacon, did you mention him?
Deacon Leon? Or
No.
Deacon Eric Page, right,
That's
thank
the
you.
one.
So Deacon Eric Page, who is a contact within the diocese and was sending out information then to all of the different parishes and what they call now the C2P, the Chancery to Parish information line, which, so
And Bridget's
far.
been kind of organizing all of this
Yeah,
for a long
she really
time
has
too.
been, yeah. There's been a lot of work that's gone on, changes and all things going back and forth, and but I think it's going to be a good conference. We're excited about
Sure
it.
sounds like it.
Yeah, and Father Ed White, of course, who has been very involved with the Iron Sharpens Iron Men's Conference throughout its time here, and is part of that group also that's called Northwest Catholic Brothers in Christ. Sorry, my voice is going for some reason.
We had one thing we noticed, that remember we had the crews to clean up, set up, and all that kind of thing, and I know that there was several men who signed up for that, and as far as I know, ladies.
And ladies also, yep.
And then, but the in particular that Father mentioned that the Exodus guys, that rather than have our 6:30 meeting on Saturday morning, our meeting is going to be helping with this conference, and they've stepped up too, so we've got more guys there, so it's going to be, we can always use help. We can always use help. Makes it lighter for everyone.
And the Fiat ladies, I know, also took flyers out to different churches as well, so they were running flyers out for the guys, so Fiat ladies have been incredible as well, and they're also, that's how we're having adoration during the entire conference as well, because the ladies are going to be in the chapel praying for us in adoration, so that's a great piece as well, so that's helpful.
A lot of things going on in our parish.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
One thing that we talked about earlier was the barbecue beer and brothers. Now that's coming up too, that I put on an email last week, I think, to all the guys, that to start thinking about this, because mark your calendar for May 20th is, we're gonna have our first barbecue beer and brothers in over a year.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's, we want as many guys, we need as many guys as possible to show up, and, you know, that, so.
What are you barbecuing?
Yeah,
We haven't talked about that yet, but
Oh, okay.
I think I've already decided.
Oh, have you? What is?
Philly steak,
Oh, yeah?
Philly steak sandwiches.
Oh, okay.
How's that?
Well, that sounds good to me.
You don't like peppers though,
No, I don't.
so we'll pick your peppers up. Get your pickled
Peter Piper
Philly steak.
picked a bunch of peppers, I don't know.
Philly steak. Yeah, we'll find something.
Well,
Or maybe barbecued pork or something. Barbecued pork sandwiches.
yeah, that'd be
You do
good
that
too.
in addition.
Pulled pork. You know who does really good job with pulled pork is Steve.
Steve Faust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have a smokehouse up at Clearview too that has really good pulled pork too.
So anyway, May 20th.
Yes, May 20th, and we'll be getting an announcement about that
What night of the week is that?
Thursday night.
Back to Thursday nights.
Yep, Thursday night, and we're gonna get together here with the leaders here quickly to determine exactly how we're gonna run this one, and I think we've got a pretty good idea how we wanna do it anyway with speakers and subjects that we wanna discuss. And we're gonna model it after one that we did before COVID hit. We had one in February or March, something like that. It was a really nice day, and we had it outside, and we had four of us guys picked a subject that we talked about.
Yep.
And it was, that was one that was.
Testimonies, right?
It was, and we got more feedback from that meeting than any other meeting we had. And it's, you know, it's much more of a one-on-one connection, and we were listening, so we hope that all of you come. So tell if you talking to somebody that.
I think if you bring those cinnamon rolls for everybody, they'll definitely come.
Barbecues and
I'm gonna
cinnamon
have
rolls?
to tap into the parish treasurer
You already,
to do that.
well, you already tapped into it. You just tapped to the side of the frosting, I think, with your finger, didn't you? I thought I saw you dip your hand in there. I just figured you were getting ready to eat your finger. You're getting hungry.
Yeah, I am getting hungry, man.
Yeah.
This is dinner.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Seriously.
It's huge. That's a huge cinnamon roll.
I know it is.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
It is
I don't know how many
hefty.
pounds it is, but it's a lot, but it's, you know, would have been better with a glass of Cabernet or something, I think. As long as it's not
Roll
eaten.
and wine. That's he was sending a message about
Yeah.
donuts and wine earlier. I'm not sure which one sounds worse, the
Yeah.
cinnamon roll wine or the donut wine.
Cinnamon roll.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing those.
Oh,
Thanks
yeah.
for
Yeah.
bringing it's not coffee, it's water, but it's the Gibbs cup. We can't really use it as a Gibbs cup though, because Gibbs
Not if
cup
it's-
has to be empty.
Yeah.
We'll drink your water and we'll be empty. Boy, do I have to do everything?
What do you want from me?
I'll just sit over here and mind my own business. Yeah, like, yeah, sure, fat chance.
Well, I think we're almost at 45 minutes, so
Yeah.
I think it's a good amount of time.
Are there any Facebook?
I didn't even put on Facebook,
Okay.
so I'm sorry if you guys have put questions on there. I should probably check that before we go, so let me see.
Well, Mary, can you think of anything that we didn't?
Well, we have Mary can talk about the Chant conference, maybe.
Oh, well, yeah.
She's like, what? Wait.
How much time do we have?
This meeting is over. No, I'm kidding. I went to your chance thing. Workshop, I'm sorry, and was really good.
Thank
So,
you.
highly recommended.
So back by popular demand will be a chant workshop.
Yeah, there have
number
been a
2.
number of people that have talked about it. Oh, Bridget's put some information on there,
Oh, good,
probably.
good.
How many days off do I get after this is over?
They said we can't see what you're cutting. Oh, you can't see the table. Sorry about that, you guys. You can't see the cinnamon roll.
What?
Sad. Here, we'll hold it up for you.
Cinnamon
There's
rolls.
the cinnamon rolls.
You'll see one in the morning, Bridget.
Yeah.
That was Catherine
You
who
didn't
put
get
that.
the table in this shot?
I'm sorry.
So did they even see you jump over it?
Oh, I don't know.
You didn't get the.
It's okay. Don't move it now, Dale.
Too late.
I'm just gonna move it down a little bit.
Oh, brother. Let's see.
Oh, how about that? We actually are people.
So the registration actually is being taken down, it looks like at 7 p.m., not at 5 p.m.
Oh.
Otherwise, men will
You
need
got
to
15
register at the
minutes.
door. So, okay, so here Bridget has also said the titles of the talks. So, Christ versus Satan, this is Father Spitzer's talks, right? Which is what everybody wants to hear.
Yeah.
Christ versus Satan. Then his second one is Science and the Shroud of Turin, and then the third talk is the Real Presence of Christ in the Eucharist. Oh, and Catherine they are real. The donuts are real. They're not the donuts. The cinnamon roll is real. The donut, the lacquered donut, which you couldn't see before, it's real, but it's just under lacquer.
Oh, this is very
Oh,
real. This,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah, but the cinnamon roll is definitely real. And I jumped over the table. That's what I jumped over.
So you'll
Oh,
get-
that's the original.
You guys are gonna get 2 of
Hold it up
these.
closer to the camera there.
Well, don't say you guys, because not everybody on Facebook is.
Yeah, not everybody. The staff.
False
These-
advertising, right?
These are for the staff. There's 2 of
They
these,
got
so
those for those of the staff that's.
of course it's enough to feed 14 staff, but you know.
Yeah.
Or 3 of us.
Yeah, that's right. When is your dinner?
Right? This is breakfast, lunch, and
Yeah,
dinner.
no kidding.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think since Dale is down, I can even see the table now. Look at that.
She didn't finish her chant.
Oh, sorry. Did you finish the chant? I was
No.
paying attention to it.
So, yes, the chat workshop is May 27th, and it's only May 27th because I'd like to have as many guys
Yeah,
from
there's some other
the
guys that are.
Barbecue Beer and Brothers attend again.
Yeah. And there's some guys, I think, from the Barbecue Bear Brothers who specifically said they wanted to go,
Yes,
so that's why
also
we're
true.
doing it on the 27th.
Is it gonna be different, Mary, than the last one?
Yeah, it'll be a kind of a recap of everything we covered last time and then moving forward. And hopefully, because now we are able to chant, right, at the Mass.
Yeah,
With a lot more participation from the entire group.
yeah. from
So not
the
just
parish.
me singing examples, but actually having everybody sing together, or chant together.
Yes, careful.
Yeah, really.
We can't sing yet. Anyway, okay, what else? Okay. No, this episode, I jumped over the table again. We're gonna make it a staple maybe
Yeah.
until I hurt myself. Dale,
I'm gonna have to get a new table.
Maybe that's how we
you
should
already
sign
have
off.
one.
I know, but it hasn't showed up. It's someplace between here and North Carolina
Oh wow,
for the 3rd time.
for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
Dale thought that when I jumped over the table in my cassock, which last time I didn't have
That's
a cassock
right.
on, but this time I do, he thought I was going to go through the window.
I did.
We've had to replace it once before. May 27th is the
Chant
the
workshop.
chant workshop, not April, May 27th. Thank
Did I
you,
say
Catherine.
April?
I don't
Sorry.
know. No, she just asked. I think you said we just said the 27th. We didn't say what month it was.
And just so you know, that Father's Talk on Saturday, and since he's doing one, is he's gonna discuss the latest in priestly fashion.
Women are the
that's
only
all right.
fashionistas.
What's your subject? What is your
Spiritual
subject?
combat?
Oh, yours is spiritual content.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, using especially Dom Scupoli's book, Spiritual Combat. But
Should I bring a helmet?
and a sword? No. Well, if you're a knight, are you a knight?
No, I'm not.
Oh. Uh-oh. Look out. I know who will be asking you to join
Yeah.
the
Oops.
The Knights of Arabia.
Knights. The Knights of Arabia. Very good.
Okay.
I'm a knight too. I'm a knight. Okay. All right, you guys. We didn't introduce ourselves this
No,
time
we
around,
did
didn't we? We just launched in, but
We made some assumptions.
you know who we are anyway. So on behalf of Mary Sims, with one M, not two.
That's right. Thank you.
Dale Garrett with, how many R's and T's? Is
Two each.
Two of each, yep.
Of each.
And
He loves the two
myself,
consonants.
Father Wickard. I hope you guys have a blessed night. Usually we would say a blessed day because we're doing it in the morning, but tonight we're doing it at night.
I have an idea for a closing.
Uh-oh. A prayer.
No, a blessing. You bless everybody.
Oh, yeah.
How's that?
The Lord be with you.
With your spirit.
May Almighty God bless you all, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. God bless
Thank you.
I already said God bless you once, but I just blessed.
You did it
I
again.
blessed you once.
So many blessings.
Right.
Oh
I
my
got my fork.
Oh,
Goodness.
wow.
Why are there
We're ready to eat
Wendy's
our cinnamon
forks?
rolls.
Huh?
Why are the forks from Wendy's?
Are they?
That's what he had in his car.
They are.
You just have a stash